Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
It's Cody Van Salem.
Cody, the Cyclones are back in the Sweet 16, baby. How sweet it is.
Yeah, for sure. Third year under odds, third time in 5 years that the Iowa State Cyclones are in the Sweet 16. And I mean, that is the nice story, I would like to say. But unfortunately, the big story for Iowa State is the injury to Joshua Jefferson that he suffered during the first game.
Yeah. What? I know there was supposed to be an MRI scheduled. Do we know the status of that right now?
I did see earlier that this was Bill Seals reporting it, so the MRI did happen earlier today, but
Please
it
be
also was
patient with
reported
us.
that Iowa State is not going to disclose fully give confirmation about what happened with the MRI until the team gets to Chicago.
So we probably won't know until like Wednesday or Thursday, I'm guessing.
But yeah, so we'll probably know later in the week, but yeah, it just got done. And obviously, Joshua Jefferson, you lose an All-American at the caliber of Joshua Jefferson. Wait, tell me if you did this too. Did you think this was going to be the same situation as George Niang's broken foot in 2014?
Yes, and once we start talking about this game, you'll know why. But you know what? Let's get into this and let's break this team. Let's break this thing down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so so the game gets Kentucky. Obviously, Kentucky was coming into this game off with that miraculous 3-point half court shot by Otega Owe to send the game into overtime, and eventually they won that game against Santa Clara in the first round. But I mean, coming into this game, what was like your read of Kentucky?
So I knew Kentucky was a team that was on an emotional high. I knew that if we there was one of the things I was worried about was their size and their ability to be able to rebound down low. So that was one thing I was worried about. Even with our bigs. That was one of the things I was looking at. And also just the opportunities that we may be able to have. Because I know one of the things we talked about before playing Kentucky is that like if this team gets down by a lot, they will quit, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, right. And I mean Iowa State, they came off of putting 100 on Tennessee State, but obviously you lost Joshua Jefferson within the first couple minutes of the game. So Iowa State kind of had to adjust their game plan, and I mean, what adjustment they made? They went smaller ball. Nate Heise saw a lot more minutes, and I mean that performance against Tennessee State was like one of the that was one of the best shooting performances that Iowa State's had on the year. Looking at their shooting totals, I mean they shot 46% from three. So, and you wonder, can that carry over, especially with what Nate Heise and Killian Torrey did for you. Nate Heise versus Tennessee State, he shot 4 of 5 from three. Killian Torrey went 2 of 3. And I mean, you saw the confidence build for both guards, and you needed them to really kind of step up, and you also needed to see Taman Lipsey step up because in the game against Tennessee State, he only had 2 points or so in 12 in those minutes, and I mean, a lot of that too was because he was just in foul trouble. He had 4
Right.
fouls to end this game, but you needed to see the guard play kind of step up, and I mean, going in and then when the game started, so tips off in Kentucky, they get out to what was it, a 15-4, like a double digit lead. They led
Yeah.
at one point by 12, and I mean this was when Kentucky was hitting shots, and Iowa State. It felt like the Arizona game, or if you want to go a little more backwards, the Pitt game a few years ago. Iowa State just couldn't, their defense was doing everything they can to keep them in the game, but they just couldn't get a shot to fall. At one point, Iowa State was 0 for 11 from three, and we were like, oh, God, this is like the Arizona game all over again.
Yeah, and then the worst part about it was,
Yeah.
Cody, is that it's just like it's not like they were taking bad shots. It's just the shots weren't falling. The thing that sort of gave me hope though is like they were down 18-6. And I'm like, man, if they're just able to just get one of these threes knocked down, I like where this team is at because at that point they were still Kentucky was still turning the ball over. So I mean that was obviously as we get deeper into the game, like you see as we look at the play-by-play chart.
Okay, kind of lost Tyler there for a second, but we talk about the play-by-play chart. A lot of the shots back. Okay, yeah, but I mean, you mentioned the shot, like looking at the shot chart throughout the entire game. A lot of the shots that like Kentucky was taking, there were times where like Iowa State like was in their face. There were some threes that Kentucky took that were not like easy. They weren't wide open, and they were just hitting it. Denzel Aberdeen is the guy I think of. He hit 4 threes in this game, if I'm correct. Yeah, and I mean, oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, okay, we're just having like a bit of a discourse. I have no clue what's happening. Sorry.
So, you're saying Otega Owe and Denzel Aberdeen were the main scorers in this game with 20 points and 18 points respectively. Denzel Aberdeen led them with 20 points, 4 of 9 from three, 4 of 9 from the free throw line. But I think, just like we said, the main story of this game is turnovers. Because, like, as a team, Kentucky turned the ball over 20 plus times.
Yeah, and I mean, this was a defense like Iowa State. Like this was Kentucky was like they didn't know what to do. They turned it over. I think a lot of these were unforced too. It was just a high ball pressure that this Kentucky team was not used to because I don't recall anybody in the SEC playing defense to this level, and it clearly showed. 20 turnovers forced by Iowa State, and they were able to cash in 25 points off of those turnovers. So Iowa State was able to really capitalize on it, and that along with the free throw shooting that Iowa State had, it really helped them stay in the game
Mm-hmm.
while they couldn't get buckets to fall. And eventually the shots did fall. And once they did, a it was just a massive wave, and Kentucky never really recovered. It was specifically the 130 mark where Milan in the scramble able to get his like own like loose ball, get the loose ball and hit a corner three, and from there it was all Iowa State.
Yeah, and it just seemed like, after everything that happened, and Iowa State went on that run near the end of the half, and they were able to hit that corner, and Heisey was able to hit that corner three, going up 31-30. I know that Kentucky was like, man, we did everything, and we're still down by one at half, even after everything. And that's when I knew. I'm like, man, we're up by one. I'm like, and we're playing well. I was like, I was talking to one of my friends. I'm like, man, I'm like, if we start making shots, I'm like, we're gonna blow this team out of the water. So, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I think even Clark Kellogg called it at halftime where he was like, "This the defense of Iowa State is going to wear out Kentucky, and eventually Iowa State was going to pull away." So he saw it coming, and I think a lot of us, like us fans, we saw it coming. And I mean, that second half was just a masterpiece for Iowa State. 51 points in that second half. Some of the players we have to talk about. I think the big one will be Taven Lipsey. The team needed it most, and when like the fans needed it most, Taven Lipsey shows up, 26 points and 10 assists. Went 7 of 8 from the free throw line, which is a nice repeat, and also went 3 of 6 from three, including that first possession in the second half where he hits a step back three, and I was like, our shots are starting to fall. This is a ton.
Yeah, I mean, him, and then the lob to Buchanan. And I mean, though we didn't have that much contribution on the bench, we got to talk about just Dom Nelson's last 4 minutes in the first half. He closed up the first 4 minutes in the first half, and he was able to get us and help us get got help get. Jeez, he helped get us in a 2-for-1 situation at the end of the half, where he was able to get us shoot 1 of 2 from the free throw line, and that was a huge play for Dom Nelson. So Dom Nelson is getting crucial minutes. Jermaine Bateman, 16 minutes, 1 of 8 from the field, but you got to love his aggressiveness because those shots will fall.
Mm-hmm.
Had to hit a huge three to extend the lead. And once again, Cody, we are in the now heading to the third game of the tournament. The second straight game where Iowa State has had great shooting at the free throw line, 17 of 24.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and other contributions. We talked about Bateman, we talked about Lissy, but also Kyrie Torre. I think he's found his confidence. Some of the shots that he's putting up, like the spin move, a layup, or the
That was beautiful. That was a work of art. Painted at the Louvre.
for the French. Yeah, absolutely. And then also that mid range, he's got the. You know how Milan has the Dirk fadeaway. I think Torre. I said at one point when he hit that fadeaway shot, I'm like, Torre must have learned that from Milan, and I'm like. And speaking of Milan, of course, he's gonna hit it like he hit the signature like Dirk fadeaway. I think a tweet got put out like talking about like, with the Dirk like fade. I made a tweet saying I just called him cheese curd Dirk.
I love that.
And I'm glad that I caught on because I think I was listening to CF After Dark and Matthias just saw the tweet of me saying said like they just call Milan cheese curd Dirk. I'm like, yes, I knew this thing would get traction.
So that was you, my boy.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. And then somebody else we got like, and then not just can't really say enough praise, but Nate Heisey, 12 points, 3 assists, but man, he was able to really bring defensive attention and also space the floor a little bit. And that and one sequence was a thing of beauty. I know he didn't hit I wanted him to hit the free throw, but I'm like, you know what? That and one, that just got so much energy for the team and the fans. And I was like, you know what? Every team that goes on a deep run, March Madness always has that cold white boy that shoots threes. It's safe to say we have 2 of them.
He's a white boy that has some emotion, man.
Yeah. And then at the end of the game, I was watching, and we were already blown up. And the fact I just see Blake Buchanan shoot a 3, I'm like, no. Oh, God.
I mean, the crazy thing is that they've been pretty close. So like, maybe one of these will hit.
Yeah. I mean, the way we just blow out these teams, I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Yeah, just go ahead and shoot a 3. We'll see what happens.
And apparently, from what I hear, is that Dominicus Slater can also shoot from beyond the arc. And if we unlock that in him next year,
So we're gonna have like Cheese Curd Dirk and a guy who probably grew up watching Dirk Nowitzki being from Germany.
man, if that's what he becomes, college basketball better be on Dominicus.
For sure.
I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah, and then we'd also presume like this is a little bit looking early, but like if you do in fact return Milan, you would also return Blake Buchanan, Killian Torre, Jermaine Damon, and Don Plata. That's a solid like starting 5, if you ask me.
So started 5, and then you have and not to mention Mason Williams coming off of injury.
Yeah.
Seeing what he has, and then the freshman class, who you know that the freshmen are gonna contribute. So it's gonna be a nice little rotation going into next year.
Yeah.
So
and screw it. Get Kate Kellerman some minutes.
Might as well.
Yeah. So that was all fun, and just Iowa State just broke the will of Kentucky. And I mean, we like, and then in the post game, Nate Heisey's being interviewed. Alec Bussey with the video. I'm gonna paraphrase what Nate Heisey said. This was in reference to Iowa State identifying the chance of Kentucky mentally checking out, if you will. Like you mentioned earlier, Nate Heisey said this quote: when you get them to that point, it's like, let's just be done. I think that's their mindset.
Yeah, like, I mean, they were out of sorts in the second half because it's just like, no matter what they did, like, one of their players was like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing. I was like, man.
Yeah, because I think at one point it was during the second half, Kentucky had tried to play as physical a defense as Iowa State had been playing all game, but they just got too physical, and I think 3 fouls were called in Kentucky within the span of 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. That was a crazy sequence. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, I've never seen a team foul. Like, fun stat that, like, they were 254th in fouls committed. So they're near like the bottom part of college basketball and committing fouls. So like it's very, very interesting that came to be because they're one of the worst fouling teams in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Iowa State, we took it to them, and it's clear. And boy, oh boy, let's just say Kentucky fans did not have a pleasant time, especially during the second half and after the game, because boy, oh boy, they want Pope gone.
Yeah, I mean, you push one coach out the door, and now you just feels like you're stuck with him, and you wanted to let go of Calipari because yeah, the freshmen and they were winning national championship. You weren't satisfied with making the Sweet 16, and now you want those same freshmen, and now you're losing in the round of 32. So maybe I understand you have high expectations, and y'all are historically a blue blood, but with this, y'all are never gonna win because you guys will never be satisfied.
Yeah.
Not saying that you should be like content, but like to expect. I mean, I understand Kentucky, like y'all haven't won in like a decade plus,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys will probably respond. What do you guys know? You guys are Iowa State fans. Well, one thing I do know is that we're thankful for our coach, and like obviously we do have expectations of making it to Elite Eight because TGA has raised the expectation to that. But one, I wanted to share a video and basically the rallying cry of Cyclones Twitter right now. I think you guys are gonna enjoy this.
Is this the one from Jake Brand?
Oh yeah, you already know. You already
Yes.
know.
Yep. So this is an interview with Milan. This was after the Kentucky game.
Man, pretty satisfied. I don't think a lot of people really doubted us without him. But it feels like 44.
Feels like 44.
He said the line. Yeah. Tom
line.
Turner. Yep. Tom Turner from CF After Dark and Dylan Kuhn from Psychofanatic. Yeah, let's just say they started a movement and it's gone onto the locker room. And it's just a smile into the camera as well. I'm like, yes, we got a new meme that's been unlocked. So yeah, so pretty good vibes for Iowa State. They get out of this relatively clean, and obviously we're all waiting for what Joshua Jefferson's status is, because there is a possibility that he could play on Friday because Iowa State. We'll get to the schedule a little bit, but if Iowa State we get the really late, like we get the last game of the Sweet 16, which is crazy. I'm gonna have to stay up. Like I'm glad it's on Friday too, so I don't have to worry about like anything.
Yeah, and unfortunately, since we're really, really popular people, I gotta go downtown. I gotta go downtown now, which means I guess public service announcement. If you guys are going downtown, I'm not going to the game, and those tickets are freaking expensive. So yeah, I'm sorry. I live in the Chicagoland area, but I will be at Murphy's Bleachers. That's in Wrigleyville, so where the Cubs play. Obviously, a lot of the listeners are probably Cubs fans anyway, so you guys know where Wrigleyville is. That's where I'll be. So if you, we'll do like a side, Tyler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So sure, but I mean, Iowa State, we did our part in the first weekend, but I will say, I always love the first weekend of March Madness, especially that Thursday and Friday, where it's just, I obviously couldn't do it in college because I mean we were on spring break, but definitely as a kid, you were just on that Thursday and Friday first like round of March Madness, you were just sitting in the classroom. Was your like classroom the type that just would have like the big box TV, and the teacher would just put on the game?
I think it was like a judicial studies Supreme Court class, and he was a basketball coach, and he always turned on March Madness. But that was always the coolest thing when your teacher was really into sports, because there were teachers that weren't, and they never put it on. But like when it was like when you got all your work done, you're like, yeah, you know what, guys, let's watch March Madness.
Yeah. Or I guess like now, I guess for me, like I would have it on my phone too. I mean, I still have some teachers that would put on the big box TV, but sometimes me and my friends, we would just sit like just at our desks, and we all just put our phones together, and we'd all just sit during class watching the games. And I bet like college students, like I might honestly do the same. Where if applicable, I'll just sit in the class and I'll just like put on like March Madness games or even watch highlights leading into the tournament, because there's just something about sitting in the big lecture hall. You're in the like all the way at the top or in that back row, and you just like you're looking at like what's going on in class, but you also just have on your computer just March Madness highlights.
Yeah, nah, I used to just double. I used to like just have it on another tab. So
Yeah.
I just switch in between like the slide, putting notes, and then
Mhm.
also like watching the game.
Yeah. So I mean, that's for sure. But I will say, this first weekend of March Madness, first round, went a little chalk, but man, this round of 32 was a thing of beauty.
I mean, there were people who actually thought that like, oh, the March Madness is broken,
It's
and then
chalk.
March Madness is chalk madness,
Chalk
and
Madness,
then
like the Cinderella run's dead. Like mid majors are like dead. I'm like, and I'd say this: they aren't dead. They're not going to be. It's just a matter of adaptation. I mean, this kind of segues into what we're talking about, and I mean, just to give us a brief summary of the first weekend of March Madness, we could start actually in the East region where Duke they got tested by Siena. Siena just they only played 5 guys. They didn't sub out the entire game, and I mean they were leading Duke at one point, and they kept this very competitive.
yeah, I mean, it was funny because like, what was the player's name that said what he said?
Was he? I don't remember for Siena.
No, for Duke, his name was Evans, and he was like basically
Well,
he
Isaiah
was like,
Evans.
yeah, Isaiah Evans. He famously said, and usually players don't admit this, but hey, he was being truthful, and I respect it. He was like, yeah, I mean, we definitely we thought this was gonna be a lot easier. I was like, man, I'm like, I love the honesty. I'm like, but that's just something that you do not say. But
Yeah.
hey, he was being blunt, so I don't blame him.
And then I remember I saw a video. I don't know who had it, but there was a video of like one of the Siena players walking by the North Carolina team, and he basically said like as he was walking off, he said "fuck Duke." Excuse my French, but that's basically like what he said to
That's what
NC.
it is exactly. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah, so Duke survived Siena, and they took on TCU, who I mean, TCU, Ohio State, this was a back and forth game. TCU, I think, led by double digits at one point in the second half. Ohio State, with Bruce Thornton, they stormed back. TCU's ultimately able to pull out the win there, so really good win for them. And then TCU was able to compete with Duke, but Duke was eventually able to pull away, and the Blue Devils are on to the Sweet 16.
And I will say that like the ref show that was in Duke TCU was absolutely embarrassing. Like the disparities in between foul calls was ridiculous, and Duke was probably going to win anyway.
Yeah.
But that was just ridiculous.
Yep. And then St. John's, Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa fell. It was at 1.20-4 in favor of the Red Storm, and Northern Iowa never recovered. So, unfortunate ending for the Northern Iowa Panthers. But I mean, St. John's just continue to do things. Rick Pitino continues to really like lead the St. John's team. And I mean, speaking of St. John's, what an ending to this St. John's Kansas game. I will say, the first 30 minutes of this game, it was horrible to watch. It was painful to watch.
Yeah, and I mean now there's going to be discourse going into the off season where there has been speculation that Bill Self may retire. He was asked the question, "Do you think you'll retire?" He said he loves doing what he does, but he's going to consult with his family because he wants to make sure that they should make sure that they're doing okay. So it should be interesting to.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously around this time you're gonna have some coach rumors, and we'll get to that after we give kind of just a summary of the first 2 rounds, or just kind of our thoughts on the first 2 rounds. Louisville survives South Florida. I knew South Florida was a popular upset pick over Louisville, and I had that too in my bracket. One of many picks that I whiffed on here in the first weekend. So, unfortunately, that sucks for my bracket. But Louisville survives South Florida, and then Michigan State and Louisville go back and forth. But Michigan State eventually able to pull away to win when it go to the Sweet 16. Don't bet against Tom Izzo in March.
So
UCLA survives UCF. I think this one's a bit of a coin toss, but I think Donovan Dent was able to really help this UCLA Bruins team move to the second round. And then Furman gave UConn a bit of a run for their money, but UConn able to pull away and win that game with double digits. And then in the and then God please save whoever's reffing this game. UCLA and UConn, it was back and forth, but UConn able to pull away, and they're on to the Sweet 16. And I was genuinely surprised to find out that it took almost the entire game for either Dan Hurley or Mick Cronin to get a technical foul.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Doug Sermons was the official, and everybody heading into this game between UCLA and UConn, we were all thinking, all right, how long is it going to take until the ref ejects both coaches?
Yeah, usually the refs are quick triggered these days, but the fact that it took the entire game is actually pretty impressive.
Yep. So it is Michigan State and UConn in the Sweet 16 in the East, along with Duke versus St. John's. So you had some things here, but the South, this region got turned upside down.
I'm not gonna lie, the South region has been absolute cinema. Like I'm not gonna lie, at least the top half of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna have to rip up the Band-Aid for you, Tyler. Sorry, in advance. Florida takes care of Prairie View 114-55, and then they matched up against Iowa, who beat Clemson 67-61, and this is probably the biggest upset of this tournament, and I don't think we're gonna get anything bigger. Iowa takes down the reigning defending national champion Florida Gators 73-72. This was a game where if you had told somebody that Bennett Sturts was going to go 0 for 3 or 0 for 9 from 3, and Iowa at one point were shooting 1 for like 11 from 3, you would have thought Florida would have absolutely blown the doors off of them. But Iowa, I mean, to their credit, they took away Florida's strength. They matched Florida in terms of points in the paint and rebounding, and it was a case of Iowa was able to hang around, and eventually they were able to win this game. I mean, Florida got like 4 with about 2.5 to go, but Cooper Koch just pulls that 3 from the top of the key. That thing just is pure, and then like the last 10 seconds, Iowa's able to break the press of Florida, and Bennett Sturts able to find Alvaro Fulgaris for the corner 3, and that shot is going to live in Iowa Hawkeye basketball lore forever.
Like we as we go like a little bit off track real quick, we gotta just talk about just the epic hate triangle. Like all the stuff that we used to say about Iowa, we can't say anymore. All the stuff we used to say about Nebraska, we can't say anymore. Nebraska came into this tournament not having ever won a NCAA tournament game.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have won 2 games and are in at least 7 out of the 16 teams right now that are from the Midwest. Like that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, the Midwest runs basketball. I said it. Yep. And we talk about Nebraska before I want to talk about this Iowa-Nebraska matchup. Nebraska picks up their first 2 wins in their program's history in the NCAA tournament with a 76-47 win over Troy. And then in the round of 32, they served God. The basketball gods were in Nebraska's favor against Vanderbilt, and Vanderbilt took down McNeese in the first round. But Tyler Tanner, you got to feel for him because this is now 2 times in the same basketball season where Tyler Tanner has a chance to win the game, because the first time it happened at Mizzou, he shoots like a half-court 3, and both times they rim out.
Yeah, hold on. We got to watch this because I thought I would be so sick because I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Like it was halfway in.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I found it, so.
Okay. Here, let me unshare my history. Oh, there you go. Okay.
All right, so I think it started, but real quick. So this is I mean, I was watching this game. I think this is one of the, this round of 32 has been really fun, and this play is a part of it. That's March for you. The thrill of victory, the agony of defeat.
And it bounced out.
Yeah, and here's the picture of it too. So this is the screenshot of it. Look at this.
I'd be sick. I would be so sick.
Yeah. You know this. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Gordon Hayward shot in the national championship.
Yeah, man, that there's been so many close calls. Like
Yeah.
I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then you think of so talk about the end of the Florida game. I don't know what Florida was doing because they have plenty of time to get down and get a shot off, and I don't know what they were doing.
And also the press thing. Like I look at that, I'm like, why are you guys pressing? You're up two. The worst thing you can do is foul them. Like I know Bennett Sturts obviously has the ball. Like you gotta understand, there's nobody on the team on the Iowa team that they're gonna get the ball to outside of Bennett Sturts in that situation. Yes, he hasn't been shooting it that great in that game, but you still gotta recognize the threat of Bennett Sturts. And if you weren't gonna double triple team him, then why are you pressing in that situation? And you're forcing the role players to win it. But you gotta know that Cooper Koch has been scorching you. I think, and in that play itself, if the big who was guarding Tavion Banks, he takes one more step towards Bennett Sturts, then you have an open Tavion Banks in the corner, and you also had an open Alvaro Fulgaris in the corner. I don't know what Florida was thinking in that situation.
I don't know what they were thinking either. There were so many questionable decisions by Todd Golden. I
Yeah,
was like, what is going on?
yeah, but I mean, Ben McCollum obviously, like, it's safe to say that I think he's gonna have his job secured for a while in Iowa City. And I mean, even in that game, when we had the scuffle between Alvaro Fulgaris and Alex Condon, and this is where some Florida fans were thinking, like, why didn't Alvaro Fulgaris get ejected in that scuffle in the middle of the first half? Where, and I think part of it too is on the refs because they didn't call the jump ball quick enough. But the
Yeah,
sequence basically goes that Fulgaris and Condon were fighting for the ball. Condon throws down Fulgaris, and there's if you put in slow motion, it looks like Fulgaris is about to go full like UFC, just throw a haymaker on the ground on Condon, but he actually pulls back and hits his hand. Now the refs did call a double dead ball contact technical foul, but Todd Golden wanted probably Fulgaris to be ejected after that. I think just what happened was I think just Iowa just they came to play. They weren't joking around because literally the first play of that game, Iowa just threw a lob. Granted, it didn't really work. It was bad, but it just showed that Iowa wasn't afraid of Florida, and it clearly showed. The game clearly showed that Iowa wasn't afraid to go right at Florida. And I mean, the Tavion Banks, I think he was given about half a foot. He was just driving in that paint, and he didn't care. And that's kind of what you got to do if you're like you got nothing to lose. Like you were 9.5 point underdogs against the reigning defending national champions. So Iowa did what they needed to do. They forced Florida to play at Iowa's pace.
yeah. I mean, Iowa dictated the terms of this game. It's absolutely stupid how they play their games exactly like the football team. Is they force you into what they want to do, slow the game pace down. Now you're gonna play at our terms. Florida likes to play very, very. Iowa was missing free throws, and they were and like just looking at this. You look at the Sweet 16 matchup we got, man. Iowa, Nebraska, and Houston. Are you kidding me? Houston, I am telling you now. Make sure you have the Bush Light stashed because man, Iowa and Nebraska are coming.
Yeah, I don't know if Houston's going to have enough viewers to even survive that. I don't know. Even if you bring in all the Tushels, you got to get the entire country's supply of Bush Light to even have a chance to survive the amount of drinking that's going to go on between Iowa and Nebraska fans. But also, this thing is going to be a war on Twitter. You just know these two fan bases. They absolutely hate each other. I know sometimes they may not acknowledge it, but it is a rivalry, whether you like it or not. And I mean, these teams, they split the season series. And you know, the one thing Iowa fans have, like, they're going to be going at Nebraska for this year is the whole phone incident, obviously, and Fred Hoiberg's pacemaker. And Nebraska, I mean, they got revenge too on Iowa. And just imagine, and now the fact that this is like for a trip to the Elite Eight, it kind of makes me sick because either one of these teams is going to the Elite Eight.
And you know want to know what the sickest thing is? Is that now it puts pressure on us because like and I think we'll be able to embrace the pressure as we break down the game on Wednesday. But like my goodness, bro. Because if Iowa wins, we have to win. Like we cannot like make it to the Sweet 16 and lose, and then Iowa makes it to the Elite Eight. Like that would be.
Yeah.
And then you see Nebraska, who's never won a tournament game, and then they make it to the Elite Eight, and we don't. Like it's a lose-lose situation. And like one thing we got to talk about, Cody. Can you imagine if we would have lost this game yesterday? Because I would have been down so bad. Thank the Lord we figured it out in the second half because oh
That would have been one of the worst week. Like, I don't know what it is.
that would have been one of the worst losses I've ever.
That would have been one of the worst like weekends of being an Iowa State fan. And listen, I had to listen. There are times I've had to endure. I had to endure the entire 20 like the 2-win season. Okay, I'm pretty sure a lot of Iowa State fans have endured it, and it's just the insufferability too. That's the thing. These Iowa Nebraska fans, they just for one reason or another, they are just like so insufferable. And I'm obviously biased. And here's the thing. I don't really hate either of these teams. I really don't hate Iowa, especially. Granted, they're in state, and I didn't really grow up hating Nebraska because they were never on my radar. But there's only one reason I even hate Iowa. It's because of that stupid face looking prick named Brendan Haas on that goddamn team who did nothing but sit on the bench for all the entire 2 games, and yet he's the first one to do the gator chomp. And I bet you that was eating you up on the inside. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then he films a TikTok and he's holding the March Madness side like he did anything. Brother is like the equivalent of Tyrese Halliburton, who sat on the bench the entire time and flexed his gold medal. It's the same energy, but at least Halliburton made it a fun joke. He at least committed to the bit and had fun with it. Brendan Haas, absolutely no. I don't want to hear anything. I never thought that prick goes to the Elite Eight. I can't, bro.
So, but here's another. We're just saying. Obviously we're still gonna go through the rest. We're gonna go through this, but bear with us real quick. The other side of this is just like, let's say if Iowa State just keeps winning, can you imagine in Indianapolis if we meet for the national title? The Cyhawk National Championship, Tyrese Halliburton and Caitlin Clark at the game. That would be in Indianapolis. That would be insane.
Yep, and both fan bases would hate it if their team lost, because if we win that game, we're going to be insufferable. If Iowa wins that, they're going to be insufferable.
I will bring it into the Cyhawk when we go to Kenneck next year. I was like, we beat you guys in the national champions.
Do it, and then do it at Carver. That would be the ultimate victory in the rivalry. It's like you have all this rivalry things, but guess what? You met up in the national championship. What happened? We won that. But dear God, if Iowa wins that, it's gonna be so insufferable. I am not gonna be able to tolerate it. Okay,
let's go Nebraska. Go Big Red, I guess.
Only for Hoiberg. We're here strictly for Hoiberg. Respect.
Only for Hoiberg.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to the other side of this region because Iowa, Nebraska was so packed. But I mean, this other side of the bracket, North Carolina, VCU. North Carolina blows a 19-point lead to VCU, and VCU wins in overtime. And North Carolina, it's sounding like they're going to fire Hubert Davis.
Yeah, and obviously this caused a lot of discourse because it just seems like every time when we have a coach that is very good, there's North Carolina and Kentucky fans are like, oh, we're going to take your coach. North Carolina fans are going to be like, oh, TJ's coming to North Carolina. And I mean, we got to talk about this. Why wouldn't he? Because they have the resources, they have the prestige.
Why wouldn't he? Let's see. Number one, he's been an assistant at Iowa State under 3 different head coaches. Number 2, his wife is in the Iowa State women's basketball league. She's in the Hall of Fame. And number 3, TJ, there are some places where you're it's just a perfect fit. Ben McCollum is the fit at Iowa. TJ Altenberg is the fit at Iowa State. And number do you think TJ Altenberg wants to deal with all those expectations of the fans of North Carolina and Kentucky?
All I'm saying is, man, it's just that like they have the resources that we don't have. I'm not saying that it will happen. I'm just saying that that's something that we got to consider because
Yeah,
we said we were on this show in December saying that Matt Campbell wouldn't leave Iowa State, and Matt Campbell's at Penn State right now. So like,
yeah,
it's something that I know it sucks. It's just something that we got to talk about. That I just wanted to bring up,
yeah.
and I hate it myself for bringing it up, but it's just something that we this in this new era,
hmm
like that. This is something that could happen.
Yeah, and I think it's something that like I bet TJ is gonna at least listen to North Carolina, see what they have.
Yeah.
But I think he would ultimately turn it down, but he will at least listen to it. But also, some fans would be like, if TJ leaves for North Carolina, fans want Pollard. They want him out the door that day.
Oh, he becomes public enemy number
Oh,
one.
yeah.
For sure.
Because, yeah, in addition to the gymnastics debacle that has happened too, you lose, like, in the span of what has it been, 4 months, you lose your head, like, your best, like, your winningest football coach in history, Penn State. You then cut the gymnastics program, which has been mired in controversy for a while. And number 3, if this does happen, TJ leaves for Kentucky or North Carolina. Yeah, who wouldn't want him gone? And in addition, this is for the wrestling fans, you let Cael Sanderson walk to Penn State, and he's built a dynasty in State College. So yeah, there are some fans who will probably want him out the door that day if that news comes out. But I mean, North Carolina. Does TJ even want to go to North Carolina? Because looking at like the winning like right now, I think Iowa State. I would say historically North Carolina's a better program than Iowa State. There's no doubt about it. But if you look at the current trajectory of the two programs, I think Iowa State's stock is higher.
Oh, it's much higher for the future.
For sure. So that North Carolina change it out of the way. Illinois, they meet an old friend, Fran McCaffrey, who led the Penn Quakers to the Ivy League championship, and Illinois wins by 35. This game was never in question. And then Illinois off to the Sweet 16. They took care of VCU 55-76. The best sequence of this Illinois VCU game was the missed dunk by VCU and then the Visage poster. And I mean, Iron Eagle Bill Raftery with the perfect call on that. I mean, Bill Raftery literally said, quote, "Take me to the Balkans, please." I'm like, yes. This is why I love March, but also why I love like that duo of Iron Eagle and Bill Raftery. They just produce gold every time they call games.
I need to find that because that.
Let's see, Illinois. Yep. I think I found it.
Found it? Okay.
56! Wow! Take me to the Balkans, please!
That was disgusting. Oh my god.
There were some really good highlights in this first round, and we'll get to, I think Michigan had another head contender, but going to the last couple of games in the South region, Texas A&M, they just took care of St. Mary's. The St. Mary's once again falls short in the NCAA tournament. Houston, no doubt, takes care of Idaho, and then Houston, they just beat the crap out of Texas A&M. And Houston's off to the Sweet 16, and they basically got a home game for the next 2 games because these Sweet 16 Elite 8 games for the South are taking place at the Toyota Center.
Please eliminate.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the South region for you, which is probably the most fun, chaotic region in this tournament. We go to the West, and we start with Arizona. I mean, they cement themselves. They really are proving why they are a national contender. They took care of Long Island, 92-58. But shout out to the LAU Sharks. Fins up. Thank you for coming, but hey, it was fun while it lasted. And then Utah State gets a win over Villanova, and I mean they kept it tight with Arizona before Arizona was able to pull away. So I mean, Utah State, I don't remember their head coach's name, but he's going to definitely get some calls from high major teams. And then we get to one of the first upsets of the tournament, High Point over Wisconsin, and 2 words will simply be the summary of High Point. Chase Johnston.
Dude, he was just pulling up from 3. I mean, it even caused Milan Momcilovic. He is like, man, I have respect for that dude. They're talking about him in the post game interviews.
Yeah.
But like, man, Chase Johnson has been.
Yeah. I mean, this is the guy who, like, coming in, he had never made a 2-point shot. And I mean, it looked like it certainly for the most part. But I mean, Wisconsin, they were trying to pull away. I mean, it was with about 5 minutes or so to go for Wisconsin. They had the lead, and they were trying to pull away. But, I mean, just the play here, just this 3, it was the start of what was a beautiful moment for, like, High Point. Just that pull-up was nasty. And then this 3 as well. And here we go. So Wisconsin tried to drive away. And then this is his first 2-point make of the year. And what a time to do it. So High Point able to, like, get the upset over Wisconsin, and then they gave Arkansas, like, some issues too. They were competitive with Arkansas. Shout out to the Panthers, but Arkansas able to put the game away in overtime, 94-88. So they'll be taking on Arizona in the Sweet 16. And then we go to beat Texas. So Texas, coming from the first 4, and they had beaten NC State to make it to the tournament, and they have 2 of, like, they're on a bit of a run as an 11 seed. This is reminding me of the NC State run from 2 years ago. They beat BYU 79-71, and they also take down Gonzaga 74-68. What a run this has been so far for the Longhorns. Excuse me, I have to puke out of my mouth. Sorry.
Yeah, Texas being a Cinderella is just so disgusting. But hey, they've been playing well, and if you get hot at the right time, that's what the tournament's all about. And now they find themselves in the Sweet 16.
Yep, and they'll be matched up against the 2 seed in the West. Purdue got here by beating Queens 104-71, and then beating Miami 79-69. Purdue, like, do you think Purdue's gonna finally, like, get over the hump again? You think so, or are they gonna crash and burn again?
No, man. I think now we're seeing a Purdue that's locked in. Usually you see Purdue when they come into the thing and you come into the tournament, and you're like, oh no, I see it. But Purdue has been pretty locked in. Like, Hoffman Wren has been playing a lot better lately. Oscar Clough has been on point. And obviously, their star point guard, Braden, what's it, Braden Smith?
Right? Yeah, Braden Smith, and he didn't really have that great of a game, particularly. I think in this game.
But just being able to steady the ship, I just think starting in San Jose on I believe that's Thursday. Purdue and Texas is going to be a battle, especially in the paint. But I think Purdue will be able to edge them out. But you got to watch for Vocalitis for Texas.
Oh, for sure. And then that leads us to our final region of the bracket, the Midwest region, where Michigan, the number 1 seed, they're cruising their way to the Sweet 16. They get a 101-80 win over Howard, and then against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Robbie Avila, Rob Wave, whatever nickname you have for Robbie Avila, leading the Billikens. I mean, I don't know where I'm going with this, but the Billikens of St. Louis get a win over Georgia, 102-77, but they run into a buzzsaw that is the Michigan Wolverines. And I mean, St. Louis kept this competitive too, so some of these mid-majors are really able to win these games and then keep it competitive, but just ultimately Michigan was just too much for the Billikens, and Michigan wins against St. Louis 95-72 to secure their spot in the Sweet 16. And Michigan, this is the one team that I think Iowa State could have some trouble with if they do meet in the event that Michigan Iowa State advance to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, they have two elite bigs. One advantage I do see Iowa State having is against the guard. It's the guard play, but I think this is going to be a game where if we're able to get Joshua Jefferson back, this is going to be the game where if we are lucky to win on Friday and we play Michigan that this upcoming Sunday, we're going to need him.
For sure. Yeah, because I think just Jefferson, that was a matchup I really wanted to see. Jefferson versus Lendeborg. That would be so fun if we were able to get that.
It would be, and just like 1-2 matching up. But hey, we gotta talk about the other team that they're facing, Alabama.
Mhm.
Alabama, even with Aiden Holloway not being there, they won by 20, 90-70, and they basically stopped the all hope for Texas Tech as they beat Texas Tech 90-65, to where it sets up as a really, really fun clash in different styles. Alabama is run and gun. Michigan likes to sort of slow it down a little bit. So really, really excited for Michigan Bama.
Yeah, that Texas Tech Alabama game. I mean, both teams were just chucking up threes because that's kind of the style that both teams wanted to play. But Texas Tech, they tried to chuck up threes, but you're not going to be able to successfully do that against Alabama. They know how to do it. That's literally their style. And I mean, Texas Tech for them, it was feast or famine for them. They would either feast like they did against us in Hilton, or they were going to starve. And boy, oh boy, in this game that they starved. They went 4-25 from three with the Red Raiders versus 19 of 42 for Alabama. Like
That's insane.
Yeah. And Alabama, this isn't the first time they did this because they do have the record for the most threes made in a game. I believe that was against BYU. It was last year's tournament. So Alabama looked at Texas Tech and they're like, okay, well, we'll just do it better. Yep, so curious to see how that matchup plays out in the Sweet 16 between the Crimson Tide and the Wolverines. And then the final few games we have of the tournament. Tennessee takes down Miami of Ohio, but Miami of Ohio did show that they did belong in this tournament. Tennessee was just too much to overcome. Virginia gets by Wright State after getting a bit of a fight from Wright State. Virginia able to survive there, and then Tennessee, Virginia went right down to the wire. Some decisions late by Virginia, it just cost them, and Tennessee able to win that game 79-72. And then we mentioned Kentucky. I mentioned it earlier. Kentucky winning in overtime against Santa Clara off of that Otega Oweh half court three. Iowa State took care of business against Tennessee State 108-74. And Iowa State beating Kentucky in the fashion they did, and that sets up a Tennessee Iowa State matchup in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. I'll say this. I mean, you saw Kentucky already talking in the game. Tennessee fans are already starting to talk before the game. Tennessee will be able to easily beat Iowa State. Obviously, Gillespie is one of the top players, and one of their main bigs is a lottery pick. So, yes, one of the things that they've struggled with is to get anything going offensively. I think, and they also turn the ball over as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what is funny is Kentucky beat Tennessee twice in the regular season.
Yeah.
And I feel like looking at Tennessee and Kentucky, they're both pretty similar, teams. In terms of build.
And the fact that we made, they said Kentucky was more physical. The fact that we literally made Kentucky give up, and you thought, and they said oh yeah, that's not gonna be nothing. We'll beat them. I'm like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll just go into we're just gonna have some audio bites and some tweets just put up on the wall somewhere, use as bulletin board material. And I look at this too. There's a world where Alabama and Tennessee does match up in the Elite Eight.
We do not need the third Saturday in October. No. You want to know why, Cody? It is a Midwestern sport. Basketball is not played in the South. Basketball is in the Midwest.
Dude.
The urban hubs. We are playing at the freaking United Center. Who wants to see Tennessee versus Alabama at the United Center? Nobody. People want to see Michigan versus Iowa State, and I think that's what we're gonna get. Oh, so yeah, Iowa State is gonna be playing at 8:10 Central Time. So
not even that. It's 9:10 Central Time because if we take
no, it's 9:10 Eastern.
no, it's 10:10 Eastern.
Wait, is that game comes on at 9?
Yeah.
Hell no.
And knowing because we're the second game in Chicago, that is gonna get pushed to 9:30.
Dang it. I need to take a nap before I go, man. This stinks.
Dude, hey. If we look at it this way, this may give Joshua Jefferson some more time to heal that ankle.
Very true. Very, very true.
And I'm glad it's on a Friday for me.
I know Iowa State fan because I think there's a Cubs game.
Oh yeah, it's opening weekend for the Cubs, so
Iowa State fans are gonna be freaking drunk going to the game.
Do you think we're even gonna make it to the game at that point?
Probably not.
I don't know about some.
I'll be at Murphy's, and I hate the Cubs, so because the next day I'll be heading to Milwaukee for White Sox Brewers in Milwaukee. So
yeah,
hopefully I'll make it to that.
Oh, God.
But yeah, one quick thing before we go. Yeah, so as you guys know, and I always bring it up all the time, I am from the Chicagoland area. So I just have some quick tips for you. Just be aware of your surroundings. Don't be looking for trouble because it's not going to come find you. Just be aware of your surroundings. But also for each, if you go there's this Vienna beef hot dog stand over by UIC, and they have Chicago style hot dogs, Maxwell Street Polish. Get the Maxwell Street Polish because it's a Polish sausage with grilled onions and mustard on it. Absolute masterpiece. They have cheeseburgers with grilled onions on it, and they also have pork chop sandwiches, dude. The pork chop sandwiches are amazing. A must. You gotta get deep dish pizza, of course. I like Lil Bonatti's. There's also a place called Pequod's on the north side. Get some of that. Obviously, Chicago has everything. There's really Michelin level, star level steakhouses everywhere around the city. Not to mention those, I'll say D'Agostino's and Aurelio's. They both have like a sweet type of pizza sauce. Elite. So, and then if you want some chicken, go to Harold's Chicken, man. Like I always be having the Harold's, but get like what my order is like a 6-piece. I get hot sauce, but the Chicago staple is a mild sauce. So get it with the mild sauce. The mild sauce is drenched on top on top of the chicken. It's fire. It's like a mix of barbecue sauce and hot sauce. Make sure you get that. Look, I may be a little bit bigger, but I know how to eat, man. Those are a few. Oh yeah, and also we have really good popcorn too. Go to Garrett's Popcorn. Get yourself a Chicago mix. Get it with caramel and cheese popcorn. Very, very good. Or get Nuts on Clark, which is also good. So those are Tyler's travel tips in Chicago. If you guys follow me on Twitter, obviously I am at Side Tie Guy. Like I said earlier in the show, I will be at Murphy's Bleachers if you want to come see me. So thank you for your time, and we are going to end today's show. A big thanks to FanDuel. Yeah, I believe the win totals are out for college football now, but
yep, I've seen
the
totals for the national champion. Do you want to guess where Iowa State's at?
For win totals for football?
No.
Or for
national champion, for them to win the national title in basketball.
800.
You were close, plus 1,600.
Those are good odds.
So
that's why you need to go on FanDuel, create an account, and win money. If you know ball, go and make money with FanDuel.
Yep. Yeah, then there's a lot more, so yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, so thanks, FanDuel. And then let's just say for this tournament, because it's kind of in the bit, I am now Joshua Jefferson's ankle boot. For the bit. So I'm not committed to the bit. When that came out, and like some people tagged me as like, okay, now you gotta go to J. Jeff's ankle boot. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch, I'm gonna have to do it anyways. But hey,
yeah,
let's see.
Let me
what? What are we 2-0 since what are we 2-0 since that came out? So now, yeah, the profile picture is literally just Joshua Jefferson sitting with that ankle on his left leg. While you just that, I mean, you can find it. Just search up Jay Jeff's ankle boot. You'll find me there. It's literally just that. Yeah, short enough it's Jay Jeff's, but yeah, you can basically just find it like that. So
yeah, so that's where you can find Cody. You can find me. You can also make sure to follow us on social media at Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitch. I see right now currently one person is following us on Twitch. So thank you guys. Yeah. This is the Believe in Iowa State podcast. We will see you guys on Wednesday. Roll Clones, baby.
feels like 1944.
Yes, sir.